Welcome to Friday's Flavor, a podcast where we take the pulse on New York business from New York business. Subscribe to support the movers and shakers, making you love New York. Welcome to Friday's Flavor, everybody. I'm your girl JoJo coming at you from none other than Schenectady, New York. Hit that subscribe button, support New York businesses, and get the best advice from the brightest New York entrepreneurs. Today, we have the pleasure of hearing from Anne-Marie Lizzi and Sharon Phillips of Capital Region Cares. Now, these ladies not only have their own full-time businesses, but they also head up this incredible initiative. I don't know how they do it. You ask, how do they do it? Let's hear it from them. So, ladies, how did you meet?
Anne-Marie, go ahead.
Oh, sure. So first I want to say, Jolene, thank you for having us. We're so excited to be here and to let everyone know about our initiative, Capital Region Cares. So Sharon and I met many years ago through our work with the American Cancer Society. We have both served on the board of directors and still continue to serve on the board of directors. Sharon is a past president of the American Cancer Society Capital Region Board of Directors. I'm currently the vice president now, and that's really how we met. And then as fate would have it, some years ago, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I'm a 7-year survivor, thankfully. So I'm so happy about that and so grateful. And Sharon herself also went through cancer, and so we truly bonded, not only from our work for American Cancer Society, but being on the flip side. So we've gotten to know one another in that regard. And then our work lives have also crossed. We've done work together, me through my business and her with her business.
Oh, that's awesome. So you guys met, and God bless you both as survivors. That's incredible that you had that opportunity to bond over that and you worked together in that capacity. It's really funny. So now I know both of you are entrepreneurs. You both own your own businesses, which I love. Could you both give me a little bit of insight on what you do? Maybe we'll start with Sharon.
Sure. So I had a wonderfully long career at Capcom, Federal Credit Union. And a few years ago, I started getting an interest in breaking out and doing something different. You know, Anne-Marie shared that, you know, we had a diagnosis, we were blessed and came through it. But during that time, you get some different perspective and you tend to build a bucket list that's very long. And I just determined that it was time for me to break out and try and do something different. So Said and Done Solutions is a project coordination support company. And really what it was designed to do is make work-life integration a reality, which is something, as you ladies know, you don't always get. And I certainly did not have it in my executive career, raising 3 children and getting through a medical situation. So I wanted to offer executives and small business owners the opportunity to have an extra set of hands so they could in fact have work-life integration and get their personal and professional goals taken care of. A lot of small businesses don't have the resources to make their lists happen. So they give me a call and that's what I do.
Oh, that's awesome. What about you, Anne-Marie? What do you do?
So I have my own business called Majestic Media Group, and I am a film, television production business along with an agency of sorts, advertising agency. So I do film, video production, commercial production, long form content, content for web, event video. And I also do media buying and planning for clients. So I have worked in film and television for, oh, wow, well over 30 years, actually, which is hard to believe. And I also, in addition to my day-to-day business, which is the commercial business and serving clients in the Capital Region, I'm also a filmmaker. So I've also edited and produced several feature films and some documentaries. So I've really enjoyed getting to know so many businesses in the Capital Region across diverse types of industries. So, you know, one day I can find myself, you know, on a dairy farm in Western New York, you know, where I can find myself on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. So it's a very interesting business, and I am pleased to serve so many doing this work. And this is my daughter, Tessa. So we're working from home. I have 2 small children. Tessa is 8 years old and my son is 10. So in addition to the business, which I've been in business now for 8 years, I am homeschooling. So it adds a new dimension to the home work life balance environment.
I am feeling you, girl. I've got 3 kids at home too, and it's a challenge. That's what we'll say. It's just a challenge working remotely and having your kids with you at the same time. So, hey there, little one. I hope you're a good office assistant.
Yeah. They've taken over my office right now, so I'm just placed to my dining room. But
teach them how to use the coffee machine.
Yes.
That's what
I have trained her on how to make a latte, so that actually is true. She can make a latte now.
There you go. Latte business up and running in the background. That's fabulous. So what inspired you both to start Capital Region Cares? I'm interested.
So Sharon and I were talking on the phone, probably just that first week in March after this sort of all broke, that week of March 17th. I will remember the date, that whole month. And we were talking about, we couldn't believe what was going on in our community. And so we thought, what could we do to help honor businesses in our community? Because as small business owners, it was scary, right? Sharon, a scary time for us as small business owners. Sharon had just launched a new business. And so we felt, the fear that I think other small business owners in our community were feeling, all the way up to large businesses. So we thought, what could we do to honor these businesses and also honor the businesses that, despite the challenges they're facing, are also reaching out there and helping those in our community. And that's really how Capital Region Cares was born.
That's awesome. And so it's really kind of an inopportune time in terms of, being a business owner, but at the same time, for you both, it inspired a whole new kind of organization. So I love that, the innovation behind it. And what's the heartbeat of the program for you guys?
Sharon?
It was interesting. The one thing that we agree we love about the Capital Region is that no matter what is happening, we always come together. It's a big region, but in the same breath, we come together like nothing else I've ever seen. Regardless of what's going on, we lock arms. It doesn't matter if you're a like-kind business, if you're a new business, you're established business. Everybody reaches out and does something to help. My background with Capcom is largely community engagement. And what we wanted to do is to make sure that what we were going through today was not only about COVID today, but how do we reopen? How do we heal? What does, the next 6 months look like? So Capital Region Cares is going well into what our future looks like, not just how we're helping each other today. And that's really what made our hearts full, was knowing that we were helping to make that happen.
Yes, and also highlighting the good that so many businesses are doing in our community, even, especially small businesses, right, who are hurting during this period of time. And despite that, they are looking to serve so many in our community, whether it's delivering meals, offering free business services. It's really been amazing what all of these folks are doing for our community during this challenging time. And now, we're many months into this, we can now have a whole new layer of things that are happening. And so I think more than ever, it's very important that we as a region do come together and care for one another, because we have so many things, that we need to try to get through and come up with, a better way for our community.
I agree that the Capital Region, I can't speak to other areas because I live in the Capital Region. I don't live anywhere else currently. So I can't really speak to how their environment is, but I can say that I have seen the Capital Region really pull together. Upstate New York has this really incredible community of people that are very willing to step out and help when they see that a need is there. I really, I agree 100% on that. I've seen so many people who, you know, I've recently met or who I've known for a long time who reach out like, hey, do you need anything? How are you doing right now? Is everything good? I'm like, I'm great. Thank God. I'm doing fine, you know, but this and this charity or this and this organization is like in need of X, Y, and Z. And they're like, fabulous. Send me a link, shoot it to me, you know, message it over. And I'm like, awesome. I mean, and I see a lot of, you know, local business owners who are donating their, not just their resources, and during a time that is painful financially, you know, they're not just donating their resources, even though they're probably feeling it financially. They're also donating their time. You know what I mean? I've seen a lot of business owners collecting food and bringing it into the food bank locally, who are going in, you know, volunteering time at the food bank to help with you know feeding families locally, but also who are like, they're just volunteering at soup kitchens and things like that. And it's incredible. I mean, you're so dead on when you say that the Capital Region really has pulled together, because I see it 100% that they have. I love this area. You know, what do you hope to see for the future of this initiative? Where do you see it going? You know, because we know this is almost like in response to COVID-19, but the hope is that this doesn't last forever. So where do you see things going?
Well, I think that, you know, right now we're in an opening phase, which is great, right? So we're on phase 2 currently. We're hoping to see phases 3 and 4.
Yeah. Oh no, we lost her. So what do you hope to see for the future of this amazing initiative?
So for the future of Capital Region Cares, I mean, Sharon and I really believe firmly that this has long legs. We hope this to be a sustaining initiative for many years to come here in the Capital Region. You know, as we've just witnessed over the last number of weeks, there are no lack of things for us to come together on. So whatever is happening in our community, I think we will always have small businesses, large businesses that are looking to support this community. And so that's something that we want to highlight, and we want to highlight those businesses that are doing those things during these times, good or bad times that we're having. So we intend this to go, you know, continue on. And for this opening phase, so we're in phase 2, as we know, we're hoping in July, we have phase 3, phase 4. So we're looking to, you know, change our message, and our message will evolve as things in our community are changing, and we're hoping that our partners with us will help us respond to the needs of the community, you know, whatever is needed at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If I could just add, the other thing that I've been so especially grateful for, and Emery and I have talked about this, is we're finding it's really inspiring. You know, other organizations, other communities are asking how they can have, you know, the same type of interaction and engagement.
Well,
So
that's awesome.
how great would it be if this, you know, becomes something that really inspires more good and more collaboration? We have people who worked with us on this campaign that are now partners. And, you know, really to get that ripple effect, to have the goodness really explode, is really a dream come true. We're very excited.
That is so awesome to hear.
And what's also been great is we have community, right now we have 10 community partners, and we've seen our community partners are reaching out to one another, which is so great. So some of them were not familiar with the other, but they're coming together asking, hey, I have this need, or I know this organization needs something. Can you help with this? So for example, Primal, they went ahead and donated food to NYOH, for example. So they reached out and said, who can we talk to at NYOH? Same thing, Rivers Casino in Schenectady, they just delivered food to NYOH. Sandler, Matt Scarkelli is offering free business programs to members, yes. And so it's just beautiful to also see that these companies are working together to help, you know, help each other out really during this period of time.
That is, it's so great, the ripple effects that are happening from it within the community. I had no idea. That's such amazing news. I mean, to know that it's even reaching other areas and they're asking, how do I start something similar? Wow, that's a big thing. That's really big. I mean, you guys are having an effect on other communities as well, which is beautiful. I mean, God bless that. And surprise question for both of you. You know, don't sweat it here. What is your number one piece of advice for a hopeful entrepreneur out there listening to the program right now?
Well, tenacity, I would say. Tenacity, energy, and focus. You know, not all days are good, but there are good moments in every day. And sometimes it's challenging. I find that as an entrepreneur, you always feel like you're not getting enough done, no matter how much you do. So one, don't beat yourself up, right? So you can easily do that. You know, you have this long, long list of things to do every day, and then you get maybe 5 of those things done because you are cultivating work, cultivating relationships, doing the work. And then there's the whole business side of it, billing for the work, collecting the billing for the work. There's so much to do. So you know what? Plan your day. Anything that you get accomplished is a win, and don't beat yourself up.
Yeah.
Also, to Sharon, and Sharon can talk more about this, work-life balance, very challenging when you have your own business, because your shingle is never, your doors are never closed, right? So you're always working. So it's defining what your work hours are. The beauty of being an entrepreneur, as you all know, is you can make your hours and you can adjust your hours as needed to fit things that are happening. So you need to, though, try to define whatever those hours are and make sure you're not working 24/7 for yourself and your family, because that doesn't benefit anyone. As far as advancing your business each year and progressing, again, tenacity, hard work, and just a can-do attitude, really, and customer service and being customer focused.
Yeah, that's very important.
I feel, as a small business myself, I really understand what small businesses are going through. So I keep that in mind when I'm working with them, because often their pain is my pain. I understand that. So when I'm working with a client, I want to try to speak to those pain points and, make things better for them, and, ultimately help them garner more business and more relationships in the community. So those are all things that I keep in mind.
That's great. Tenacity, energy, and focus.
Yes.
All 3 at once, guys. That's what's tough. And you're right. I feel like entrepreneurs are a different breed of people. And what I see across the board in almost all, business-minded and entrepreneurial, minded folks is a hypercritical, hyper self-criticism more
Yes.
than anything. Like, they're not necessarily hypercritical of others, but they are hypercritical of themselves, and they set very high expectations for themselves.
Yes.
And maybe not even as high expectations of those around them, but they set these extremely high goals, expectations, and when they don't hit that objective, it's like, oh, you really bum yourself out. And so don't bum yourself out. That's tip number 1.
Yeah.
What about you,
The
Sharon?
other thing, if I could just add one thing, Anne-Marie and I talk about this a lot too, is understand that there is such a benefit to being a lifelong learner.
Yeah.
And I have learned, I feel like I've gotten a master's degree in a year of how to take all the different business elements and put them all together. But I could not have done it without great friends who are entrepreneurs, without some great mentors, without, taking some time to really educating myself on best practices. So what I would tell somebody who's just starting out is, don't expect to know it all, but be willing to learn it all.
That is awesome. Those are really great pieces of advice. Tenacity, energy, focus, and then coachability. And it's funny that you say that. I literally this past weekend, I think Friday or Saturday, put up a post just letting people know. I feel like the number one thing that has helped me, my biggest tip is that I've always been coachable. Coachability has to be the number one asset to anybody. Entrepreneurs for sure. But to anybody, the moment you think you know it all, you're done. Like you're done learning, then you're done growing.
100%.
I mean, I've always been big into learning. I love to learn. I've been, and I'm very good at absorbing stuff. So maybe that's what you always do, what you're good at. So I'm a really good learner. And so whatever I read and hear, I absorb, and I really enjoy kind of mulling it over. But being coachable, being able to take advice from other entrepreneurs, especially who have been there, from your managers, if you're an employee, it's very important to be coachable, because if you can learn new skills and learn new information all the time, you will always be elevating yourself consistently. You will, and I don't know very many people who are coachable, who don't get promoted, who don't end up owning their own business one day, who don't end up doing something really great, versus my experience with people who aren't necessarily very coachable and kind of seeing very stagnant kind of growth, no growth, or very stagnant type, even they play video games all the time. I'm not hating on video games, but I've noticed that in a couple of big examples in my life, that they spend more time playing video games than they do reading.
Yes.
And there's just something different, folks. Okay, put the PlayStation pedal down for a minute and get you a book. Okay. Oh man, people are gonna hate this episode. It's great.
And I think too, as Sharon was saying, I mean, even this our Capital Region Cares initiative, we've learned so much during this process too. I mean, Sharon and I built an entire website in 1 week. That was a challenge, and it's a very substantive site. And we had a hard deadline because we wanted to get everything out. Because we wanted to get the information out. So we learned so much, just through this whole process as well. And I learn, every single day I'm learning something new with every single client, because no two clients are alike. Yeah. And they also challenge me to look at, new resources for them. How can they get their message out? How can they get their message out more efficiently and effectively? So that has made me continue to be a lifelong learner, learning about all the new platforms and offerings that we have available. So that is a great unexpected benefit from being an entrepreneur, because you are always seeking and learning. And then the other thing I wanted to add is, you don't want to operate in a cocoon. So I encourage all entrepreneurs to be involved and volunteer on boards and in organizations, that, mean something to them. For me, I'm vice president of the American Cancer Society Board of Advisors right now. I'm the president of American Women in Radio and Television, and I'm a past president of the American Marketing Association and the Ad Club in the Capital Region. So I'm also serving on the board of the Italian American Community Center. So through all of these organizations, I know.
Extra hours in your day that
I don't get a lot of sleep, but all of these things, I've met incredible people. And Sharon is one of them. You meet incredible people, and it just widens your universe. And then you also have people, you meet other entrepreneurs that you can bounce things off of, because we don't have that time at the water cooler. And now the whole society, right, is sort of living like an entrepreneur. So you need that support, the emotional support, the business support, and the camaraderie. So, stay involved would be something I would also recommend, so you do not isolate yourself.
Yeah, collaborating with other businesses too, other people in the similar industry or even in the same industry as you. Don't be afraid of working with your competition,
right?
Because there's 45 different types of bread on the shelf at Pricey Chopper. Okay, people,
right.
More than enough room for more than one marketer, more than one PR person, more than one restaurant owner. There's plenty of room at the table. Don't be afraid to collaborate with those people because they are going through it as well. They are going through the same thing as you, in fact, and will offer you better advice than me. You know, and I'm full of great advice. Trust me, I've failed in business more than I've succeeded, which means I've got experience and advice, especially on what not to do. But hey, this has been really great. Thank you so much for joining us, Anne Marie and Sharon. I really appreciate you both. It's always a pleasure talking with you. And you know, I'm praying for growth and prosperity for Capital Region Cares and both of your businesses as well. Anyone who is interested in speaking to either of these ladies, I'm going to be putting their information on the end screen following this conversation. So if you're watching on YouTube, my family of followers, please check them out if you're interested. We love all of you who haven't subscribed yet, but what are you waiting for? For New York business owners, help hopeful entrepreneurs out there get the best advice. And happy Friday, everyone. Thanks, ladies.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having us.
Thank you.